Hello, and welcome to another episode of Finding the Unicorn in You. My name is Dr. Jaime Raygoza, your host, and I'm excited to have another solo episode with y'all. So today we're going to be covering something that I love to talk about, and you probably heard me talk about this 1,000 times, but we're going to talk about burnout, specifically when it comes to group settings at the workplace. So for those that don't know what burnout is, a official definition of burnout is a state of mental, physical, and emotional exhaustion that results from chronic workplace stress. This can be categorized and this can typically burnout can be categorized by emotional exhaustion, mental distance, energy depletion, negative attitude, feeling separate from your workplace, from loved ones. You start seeing that you have a different behavior than normal. And all of these could potentially be signs of burnout. And what burnout is in the very macro level is an abundance of stress that goes unregulated, and it just piles on over and over and over and over again until it tips over and you're pretty much done. You start feeling numb. You start feeling exhausted. You don't want to get out of bed. You feel this sense of dread, like dissatisfaction, unmotivation. You feel that you keep trying, but no matter how hard you try, you just never can catch up with your energy and it's just super depleted. And there are signs of burnout that you can learn through time by recognizing your body. Each person goes through different burnout stages. It really does depend on the person, but early signs can be irregular bowel movements, headaches, feeling fatigued, feeling depressed, feeling anxious. A lot of these things can be early signs that you're like, wow, something's wrong. Maybe I should start regulating myself. And a lot of the ways to prevent burnout is to be preventative and to really know what the signs and symptoms are and try to de-stress yourself. Empty your cup every now and then so that you're not just overwhelmed and keep all that stress inside the whole time. It creates way too much tension. You just need to let it go. So today I really want to talk about more so on how burnout is skyrocketing more so because of collaboration. And people who know me know that I love collaborating. I love working in partnerships. I love working with other people. I think that two heads are better than one. And it really does help facilitate things and make the process go a lot smoother. However, if there's no systems in place, if there's no communication, if people are, some people are burned out, others are not, it can really cause stress in the workplace and can cause a lot of issues. So statistics have shown that, and I have my little handy dandy notes right here. Statistics have shown that collaborative work has increased over 50% over the past decade, and now taking up to 85% of people's work weeks since 2023, 2024. So if you think about it, that's a lot of collaborative work where you no longer have the autonomy to do your work alone. Now it's kind of forced upon you to socialize yourself, do group projects, and really work with your peers. And one of the things that ended up skyrocketing this collaboration was because of the pandemic. A lot of us were independent, able to work alone, but because of the pandemic, a lot of managers and supervisors noticed that there was a disconnect between employees and the company. So they really wanted to build that bonding. Therefore, a lot more collaboration projects started emerging. And it really does extend not only throughout the day, but early mornings to middays to afternoons. You may have noticed a skyrocket in meetings and meetings after meetings, meetings to plan the meetings and meetings to talk about the after results of the main meeting. And it can get very, very overwhelming super quick. And like I said, if unregulated, you don't have a proper system set in place, it can cause extreme amount of stress for you as the employee, as a supervisor, as a manager, and overall as a company. So there's some things that you need to understand, like three main triggers that studies have showed that can lead to collaboration overload or collaboration burnout in your company. So the three main things that lead to collaboration overload are: one, the need and desire to help others; two, the fear of missing out, losing control, others' opinions; and then number three, the need of accomplishment. So these three main things that seem very positive, you want your employees to have these three things, can lead to collaboration burnout because the burden of wanting everything to be done in a specific way, perfectly, to have everybody pitch in the same amount of energy, and really trying to, that sense of care can lead to compassion fatigue, which then overall burns out the employees. So you have to be able to communicate, regulate, set proper boundaries, set proper systems in order to avoid from people to overdo it. And especially nowadays, it's super easy for us, especially if you're working from home, to just work long hours in your computer. Your computer's right there. You're in your home. You can just leave it open and continue working on it, especially if you see emails coming in 24/7, you get the ding, you're like, you can answer it on my phone or whatnot, but it's very unhealthy for you. And it really does create a lack of balance. And we say to ourselves the myth of, if I get everything done today, I will have no work tomorrow. So I get to relax next week. But that's not true. Let's stop lying to ourselves. Next week, you're going to have another abundance of work and the list is going to pile on. You have to be able to manage what you can today and just do the best you can today. You can't control what's going to happen tomorrow. You can't control what already has passed. Just do what you can today to the best of your ability. And if you need assistance, ask for help. If you're your own business owner, then contract out. If you are a employee, ask your supervisor for guidance and assistance. And if you're a leader, then make sure that you have other leaders and try to see how you can help do things or start delegating down and training your employees to help you do the tasks that you're falling behind. And it's not a bad thing to ask for help. It's actually braver and more vulnerable, and it shows a lot more. People respect you more when you ask for help. There was actually a quote that was said by Simon Sinek that studies have showed that individuals don't bond and get closer by helping each other. They bond and get closer when they ask for help of each other. So the act of helping does not bring you closer. It's the asking for help that brings people closer, because it creates a shared memory, a shared experience of vulnerability, of respect, and caring from both parties. One, the person that's asking for help, and two, the person that is being there for that person in that moment of weakness, in that moment of need. And by asking for help and showing that vulnerability, the other person that's helping now has the confidence and that to be able to ask the other person for help when they're needing help. So it creates a trickle effect, and other people surrounding them start seeing this. And it just really does help people being able to ask for more help and build those relationships and foster that helping environment. It's super easy to go into this people pleasing. I need to help everybody. I need to collaborate with everyone. I need to be able to help everybody out. But you also need to know what your capacity is and do some reflection. Can I actually help my colleagues in doing all of these tasks, even though they're falling behind? Or am I going to overextend myself and burn myself out? We have to learn how to say no. And this is super important in order for us to set proper boundaries and teach our colleagues and train people around us that it's okay to say no and it's okay to say yes. And just go with honesty, transparency, and respect. Letting them know, hey, I would love to help you with this project. However, I have a lot on my plate. I'm still behind with my emails. I still need to finish these other 2 projects that I have. This may not be the right time to be able to assist you. However, next week I can probably help you out if you still need the help during that time. Let's circle back. Or, hey, I just don't have the bandwidth right now because I have so much going on. I maybe you can ask somebody else and then circle back if they're still not available. Then maybe we can schedule some time in the next few weeks to be able to assist you with this project, or suggest people to go talk to their supervisor, go talk to whatnot. If it's coming from the supervisor, then just being very frank, hey, I've reached my plateau and this is what I can kind of go at right now. Let me finish a couple more projects before I can take on that new responsibility or task. And just being able to have the confidence to say no in a respectful manner, but really share what your boundaries are. And just because you're lower than someone in the hierarchy does not mean that they're able to abuse you. You have the ability to stand up for yourself, to say what your needs are, what your limitations are. And at the end of the day, as long as you're getting your work done, you're still doing your job. It's not like you're being disrespectful or defiant. You still have to do the main things. But the thing is that sometimes as a supervisor, as management, people forget that you are a person. They feel that you're able to take all these things because you're always saying yes, 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 but they're not seeing how it's affecting you mentally. They're not seeing how it's affecting you inside, how it's affecting your work-life balance, how it's making you feel. And unless you communicate these things with them, they're not going to know. At the end, we're not mind readers, and people can't assume to know with passive aggressions or like with hits saying like, I'm overstressed. They're not going to know. And sometimes I've seen this often in organizations where people start getting angry that they are doing a lot more work than their peers. And they're like, so and so gets away with doing nothing. And I over here get away with all of these things that I have to do. But did you ever consider that the other person set proper boundaries? Therefore, the supervisor started giving you more work to do because you lacked boundaries. People take advantage of people who don't have boundaries. And it's a two-way street. One, the supervisor should know better. And they should know that if you are overworked, they should not give you more work. And two, you as the employee should have set that boundary so that they know what threshold is and they won't take advantage of it. Times are tough. People are understaffed and people are quitting left and right. And it is a very difficult job market right now. It's not a good space for people who are looking to make quick transitions right now. It is going to take a few weeks up to a few months to find a good job. You can find any job. So don't get me wrong. If you're in a bad spot and you really need to leave, you can find another job. The problem is that you might end up finding another job that has the same culture, if not the same issues than the one you just left. So if you want to find a good, high quality job with a good position, good pay, and have like be able to take a step up than where you're at, it could take a little bit of time because you have to be a little bit more selective. This is why I teach a lot of my coaching clients kind of like how to be able to screen the bad employers, how to be able to assess company culture through the interview process and even before that, and how to be able to network to find a little bit more information before you commit to a specific employer. So these are things that you have to be able to like learn and practice. And it, like I said, it's quite difficult, but I'm going on a tangent. So going back to collaboration burnout. Like I said, number one, you have to be able to set proper boundaries in order for you to not be taken advantage of and manage your stress levels. You know, the first, I say this, and I actually just said this at another podcast, is the first thing you learn in CPR and first aid is if someone is burning or they're getting hurt by a source, the first thing you need to do is take your hand or the body part away from the source that's causing the hurt. And this seems very obvious. And you're like, if I have my hand on the stove and I feel my hand burning, take my hand off the stove, right? Pretty common sense. A lot of people don't have that common sense when you're going through the pain. Sometimes we forget to take away ourselves from the source of pain because of all the thoughts and everything the emotions that we're feeling at the time. Same thing goes here. So in order for you to reduce stress, you need to take a step back away from the source that's giving you the stress. Doesn't mean you have to quit and just leave and just throw everything out the door without any plans. No. Try to take a step back, reassess, see what is specifically is causing you the stress. Is it the lack of structure? Is it the lack of communication? Is it the abundance of workload? What exactly is causing the stressful situation for you, the unpleasantry? And then communicate that with your leaders, your colleagues, your leads, the people around you so that you can create a game plan and set the proper boundaries so that you can be successful in your career and in your position. The second thing I would suggest in order to be able to combat collaborative burnout is to be able to delegate some of your tasks. See if your supervisor can either give some of those tasks away, or you can either train somebody below you or another person and say, hey, can you handle this task? And I'll handle these tasks. Or let's separate this a little bit better. Let's be organized, communicate, and seeing how we can kind of move that. It's easier as a supervisor and a manager to be able to delegate the tasks that you have. But as an employee, it can be a little bit more complex because you don't have that same authority. However, you can barter and you can communicate with your colleagues and ask support. And assuming if they have the time, the willpower to be able to help you, you have the relationship, then by all means, why not ask for support and trying to see if they can do, and then return the favor back whenever you feel less stressed out. See how you can check in with your peers and be like, hey, do you need any support from my end? How can I help you so you're less stressed? And really being there for each other in that teamwork sense without burning yourself out in the process. Still setting those boundaries, still being able to communicate with each other, and still being able to be very transparent with your communication. The last piece of advice that I want to give you in order to combat collaborative burnout or teamwork burnout is see that what projects you're accepting and whether they align with your goals. Is that tasks that you're about to enter gonna benefit you in the long run? Is it gonna teach you a new skill that's gonna help you to promote? Is it going to teach you a new skill that's gonna help you expand or make your job a lot easier in the long run? Or is that new training going to help you? Um, or what are you gonna get out of this experience that is going to align with your goals of what you have with your company? A lot of us sometimes say yes blindly to everything, but we don't really know what is the purpose of us doing this. And it's okay to ask, asking your supervisor, asking your colleagues, hey, so what's the purpose of this project? Like why are we doing this project? How can I do the best of this project? What are the outcomes of this project? And is this something that happens frequently? Is this something that happens rarely? Is this something that leaders only do? And then seeing how that does that align with what you want in life. And if you don't know what you want in your career, then that's a big, big problem. And that's probably the reason you're getting burned out. A lot of people go mindlessly into a job, not having goals, not having a professional development plan, not having any type of guidance for themselves, not talking about what your leaders put on you, what you want. What is the purpose of you being in that position? Do you want to stay a few years and move up the ladder, or do you want to just get experience to apply to another job that requires that minimum experience to go to the dream job? Or is this the company that you really want to stay in forever? And this is the position you want to just stay in, but you just really want to master the skills on how to do this. So really asking yourself, what do I want in life? What is it that I want to accomplish? And and this is an easy question to ask yourself that, it helped me like get the career that I want, get the business that I have, and really have that self-fulfillment, which is if you were to get everything that you wanted at the end of the year from this job or this career, what would you look like? What would your position be? What kind of tasks would you be doing? What would bring you the most joy out of your work if you were able to do everything that brought you joy, that made you feel fulfilled? And if money wasn't an issue, it was just like every task, like what would it be? And once you like see all the tasks and you see all the things that you would do, then put a money on it. Like what would be a comfortable amount that would help you pay your bills and still live a comfortable life and help, with your family and whatnot in your expenses. Like start creating that perfect job, start creating that perfect role. That way you can then seek to see if that current company has that availability financially or the space occupationally to be able to grow into that position. Or maybe you've reached your plateau there and it's time for you to transition into another company that has that specific role and duty for you to go there. Or talk to your supervisor and try to develop a professional development plan and see, hey, what can I do? Even though there is no mobility here, what can I do that you can teach me or programs that this company can offer so that I can potentially reach my end goal? And you'll be surprised that a lot of people do want you to be happy. A lot of people do want you to reach, you know, stay with the company as long as possible. And I've seen it time and time again where companies have actually made specific departments, specific programs, specific roles, just because they really do value that person. Not every company does this, but some do. But you will never know. And the answer is always going to be no unless you ask. But before you even get there, you have to go back and do that self-reflection of what is it that you want in life? What is it that you want in your career? How do you want to get there? These are tough questions. And sometimes it's hard to do it alone. This is why I opened up my business. And this is why I have people coming to me. I help them navigate through those questions, through those self-reflections. I help them create a professional development plan. I help them create the stepping stones to be able to go to the career that they want to be, the position they want to go, the place that they want to be their dream job. Or if it doesn't exist, and they create it and they open up their own businesses and they start doing those type of things. But It is something that they have to be able to do themselves. The client has to be able to do this. You need to do this yourself. I can't tell you what you want. Your boss can't tell you what you want. Your family can't. Because if you allow other people and external factors control what your happiness looks like, then you're not going to be happy because you're pleasing them, not yourself. You have to be able to please yourself and find out what makes you happy. Sometimes we fall into the trap of being a good father, being a good brother, being a good uncle, being a good employee, being a good supervisor, being a good person, that all these labels, and we try to make all the happiness for everyone, being perfect and everything. But what makes you a good version of you? What brings you happiness? What brings content to you? What is going to, at the end of the day, on your deathbed, make you feel happy and pleased that you did what you did in your life? Because we don't want regrets. We don't want to live life unhappy. Life's too short. It could end tomorrow. It could end tonight. It could end right after this podcast. But be able to live life as happy as possible every single day by making choices that are going to make you happy. That's what's going to give you a fruitful life. That's what's going to make you feel satisfied. That's what's going to make you feel fulfilled. So start planning towards a brighter future. Start planning and doing these type of things, and do the self-work, do the self-reflection, and really focus on you. Make 2025 the year that you're really going to focus on self-improvement, focusing on what you really want in life and going for what you want, no matter what age you are, whoever you are listening to this. It's never too late to start focusing on you, whether you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s. It's never too late. You can always, always, always do a soft restart and start again and starting to seek happiness. So these are my advice for you. And like I said, it can be really hard, especially when you can't have a lot of control of what you can do, but there's certain things that you can do to be able to communicate and regulate the burnout, even when it comes to collaboration in the workplace. And collaboration should be something fun. It should be something meaningful, building networks, working with people. It should not cause burnout, but too much of a good thing can become a bad thing. So make sure you set those boundaries, learn how to say no, learn how to communicate, be vulnerable, delegate, and ask for help. Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. I'm excited to bring more episodes like this in the future. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email at jgraygoza@rainbowcareercoaching.com. You're more than welcome to go on my website at rainbowcareercoaching.com, check out any of my services. If you need help with answering these tough questions, if you need some career advice, if you need help managing your stress, feel free to shoot me a message, schedule a 30-minute free discovery call, and let's try to make your life a little bit easier. Let's try to make 2025 the year that you really do achieve your goals. And remember, it takes more courage to ask for help than it is to try to do it on your own and fail and feel miserable. You can do it, but if you can have somebody help you along the way and make your life easier, why not? It doesn't make the goal less happy. It doesn't make the goal less valuable. You're still going to get there, but why struggle if you don't have to struggle? But thank you so much. As a reminder, episodes come out every Friday at 7 a.m. and make sure that you apply all of these unicorn lessons this week, and just know that collaboration can be a good thing, but set proper boundaries so that you avoid burnout. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful day.